Yo, what up? Benjamin D'Souza here, back with another vid. I got a gang of vids in a pipe that I haven't posted. Probably not gonna post them now because they're outdated, but it's a certain theme that keeps popping up here on Facebook that I feel, that I think, and that I know needs to be addressed. And that overall theme is basically men over concerning themselves with the desires and the wishes and the demands of these females. If you're familiar with some of my content, you will know that I absolutely do not care what these bitches have to say, think, or what they feel. I don't. Because I understand also well that they don't know what they think. They don't know what they want. And they don't know what they feel. Because their feelings change the motherfucking weather. And what they think is so fickle due to the nature that they are so receptive to outside stimuli. Um, I'm really making this in response to, the O'Shea Do Jackson video with the gal who was chewing on the pink meat. Now she want to fancy herself a pro bliggity black. Forgot her Yvette. What the fuck is her name? Irene, something like that. Whatever her name is. Anywho, but yeah, my whole thing with not concerning yourself with what these women have to say or their complaints is, you know, you can see it in this whole colorism thing. And I made a video talking about, colorism is bullshit, which it is. I myself, being a medium brown, of medium brown complexion, I'm like a reddish brown or whatever. I'm not the darkest nigga, but I'm not the lightest motherfucker either. I've fucked bad bitches throughout the spectrum of bad bitches. You feel me? And yeah, I mean, if you're attractive, you're attractive. If your hip to waist ratio and breast ratio is on point and your facial features are symmetrical, shit, you can get on. You can get on. It has nothing to do with your skin tone. But a lot of men have allowed these women to completely subvert the the target of the conversation with this whole colorism bullshit. And their whole lack of logic and consistency is so glaring. It's like at this point, I can't even give a colorism argument any credence. Even if it's legitimate, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Don't care whatsoever. Because I know the vast majority of them are just using that as a bullshit talking point. And we've seen this. A black man marries a white woman, then that black man is, public enemy number one. Black woman marries a white man, then, that white man is the reincarnation of, you know, the white Jesus Christ or whatever. You know what I mean? And that sister had to do what she had to do. Like, who cares? They get to talking that colorism shit. I tune them out. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit because all these colorism activists, when they need to square the shit off, and they need to round to the nearest decimal, or round to the nearest tenth or whatever, they never do. They never do. They act like they ain't see the shit. You know what I mean? When it was time to address all these bitches caping for Meghan Markle, these colorism activists were nowhere to be found. You feel me? When it was time to check these bitches, these swirling bitches on this whole Serena Williams, whatever, Alexia guy, and their beige mulatto baby, these bitches was nowhere to be found. But Robert Smith come out, drop 40 mil on Morehouse, now all of a sudden he ain't shit because he's married to a white bitch. Excuse me, he's married to a white woman. I don't want to disrespect this man's wife because he did. And hey, hats off to him, man. Straight up. Big salute. You feel me? Big salute to that brother. But in this O'Shea Duke Jackson podcast about the child support piece, I wanted to hop on the panel, but I was mobilizing at the time. But yeah, you know, I got my my views on that. Now, Mr. Fantastic and Taz were going back and forth about, you know, Taz reverted to his old man. You know, I don't let no woman dictate to me. You know, like, come on. This whole child support system has been weaponized to victimize black men. Now you can say, if somebody draw down on you with a gun and they fire at you, you can say, you can try to speak it into existence that those bullets won't hit you. But if they line you up, you might just get hit. Now, did they have to draw down on you and line you up and shoot you? No, they didn't. They had a choice not to, but they chose to. And that's the whole point. That's the whole point. These bitches are choosing to weaponize this whole child support system. And as Q put it on Obsidian's podcast, put them white folks in your life. Now, if you're familiar with my catalog, you'll know that I've had my experiences with said white folks being put in my life. And I've come to a indifferent space in my life. You know, as the old folks would say, I let go and let God. I let go and let God. Things that are out of my control, I don't concern myself with them. But if it's well within my control, oh, you best believe it is of the utmost concern of mine. And that which is in my control is where and whom I spend my time with and where and whom I spend my dime with. And as far as this whole child support piece, this bitch talking about child support should be paid to the mother as soon as she get pregnant bullshit. Bitch, I spend my dime and I spend my time where I goddamn please. And I've spoken on the methods in which these women have weaponized child support. They've weaponized their children in the state against men. It is not about how masculine you are. It is not about your game, your gift of gab. It is not about how good you can put it down in the bedroom. When these bitches come to you with an agenda, no amount of jawlineness, no amount of gift of gab, no amount of stroke game is going to subvert that. What do I mean by that? It doesn't matter how handsome you are, how much game you got, how much good dick you can sling. Doesn't matter. If she's coming to you with the game plan of I'm gonna get pregnant by this nigga, I'm gonna stir up some chaos, then I'm gonna play the victim, and then I'm going to go down to the courts, drag him through the courts under the guise of, well, I had no other choice but to bring him down to the court system. When you come across a bitch like that, if you allow it, you're food. You're food. You're food. And this goes back to not concerning myself. When I say I don't concern myself with the complaints of women. When they get the popping this, oh my baby daddy ain't shit, my baby daddy ain't this and he is that, or colorist, they don't like a dark. I don't give a fuck about they plight. Don't care one bit. Because rest assured, when they deem you a mark, they don't give a shit about your plight at all. You could have the best intentions in the world. You could be square as an L7. If they have a motive and an agenda to put your ass in a meat grinder, they're gonna put you in a meat grinder. They're gonna see that shit through. Even if they get with you and they be like, man, this is a solid dude, man. Maybe I shouldn't do this. They gonna see that playing through. They're gonna see it through anyway. Because like I spoke about in past vids, this whole child support piece, it's a racket. The baby mama industrial complex. It is a hustle. It is strictly monetary. It is a means to a financial ends. Granted, it's an horrendous business practice, but it is a business nonetheless. It's like Being a professional baby mama is akin to being a professional drug dealer. Professional drug dealer. Well, being a career drug dealer. Same thing. Same thing. Yeah, it can be lucrative. It really can. Being a professional baby mama can be very, very lucrative. But at the same time, the success rate of the, how you say, lucrativity, if that's even a word, is very slim. In other words, it's kind of akin to becoming a professional athlete. It's like making it to the NBA. You know, it's what, 30 teams in the NBA, 12 to 15 players on the roster. Do the math on how many total players are in the NBA. The base contract is what, 400,000. Shit. Even if you the 12th man on the bench, you still making well over 6 figures a year just to go to practice and to sit on the bench. Shit. That's essentially hitting the lottery, you know? And that's what it's like, and that's what it's like to attempt to be a successful baby mama. To be a successful baby, because there's a lot of components that go into being a successful baby mama. For one, said baby daddy has to have the means, and he has to be willing to spend those means. It's not enough that he has the means. He has to be willing to spend those means. And he has to be under a certain mental programming that he can be controlled. Because if he can't be controlled, what good is his means? What good is it being a baby mama of a thousandaire or a millionaire who can't be controlled? Yeah, he may pay the child support, but is he gonna go, if you can't control him, or if he has contempt for you, can you really bend him to your will? No. And like I said in past videos, it's not about money. It's not about looks. First thing that these bitches operate on is control. It's control. You can be tall, handsome, intelligent, come from a solid background, have good money, and all that. You can have all that in a Hot Wheel track. If they can't control you, they're gonna throw the biggest temper tantrum to try to get you into compliance. And I think, as far as this whole child support deal is concerned, I think a lot of people, especially on Black YouTube, really don't address this whole intended and intentional baby mama shit that's going on. When a lot of these bitches sit up here and they say, well, she didn't get pregnant by herself. Well, obviously, she didn't. Duh. I highly doubt that she's Virgin Mary and it was an immaculate conception. Duh, Captain Obvious. Of course, it takes two mammalian motherfuckers to get together to copulate and create another human being. No shit, Sherlock. But they're not examining what was that bitch's intention. Why? All of these all of these forms of birth control. Bitch, you know when you your most fertile. You know when your period is. You know when your period is. You know when you ovulating. You know when you about to ovulate. You know you just got done. You know all this shit. So why would you even put yourself in a position to get pregnant by a nigga? Well, all of these forms of birth control, modern science, where a bitch can mark on a calendar when she's her most fertile and when she's least fertile, all of this. This is where I bring it back to the baby mama industrial complex. These bitches are getting pregnant for the sole purpose of monetary control, of monetary gain and social control. Excuse me. Monetary gain and social control. It's what it is. It's not just enough to get a fucking child support check every month. Because truth be told, if you a basic bitch making basic income, 30 some odd thousand a year, and you got 2 kids, a little rinky dink, extra couple funky $100 a month ain't gonna help you with that. It's not just enough. It's not the money. The child support is used as a mechanism, a punishment mechanism of negative reinforcement to punish the man to get him into compliance. It's not that child support check that they're after. It's the control of that man. That child support check is a means to an end. The end is to control that man. Child support is a means to control that man. And I've seen this shit. Seen it with my own eyes. I've seen brothers in that same state building with the deer in headlights look on their face like, shit, this bitch about to take a pound of flesh out my ass. I got 2 choices. I can bend over and take it. and come under her compliance, or I can fight like hell. And I'm telling you, brothers, now don't try this at home. This is only for the professionals. If you are a professional, black-hearted Machiavellian, then go ahead and do this. But if not, if If you're not built for this shit, stay your ass on the porch. But personally, I believe that we should take a hard, strict, cold-hearted approach to these women and the means in which they're using our own children against us. Now we know, as men, we know that they're not playing fair. They're trying to exercise control over us by using our children in the court system to manipulate us. That's a cold-hearted thing to do. Because as a woman, if you have a child by a man and you purposely keep that child away from that man in an attempt to punish him because he's not conducting himself in a manner in which you're not pleased with, you know that is not good for that child. As a matter of fact, they can be detrimental to that child. Because when that child asks, "Where's my daddy?" bitch, you gonna have to save face. We know you gonna have to save face. When your son and your daughter ask you, "Where's daddy?" you ain't gonna tell the truth. You're not gonna sit up here and say, "Well, listen, mommy's a piece of shit. I'm keeping you away from your daddy because I'm not pleased with his actions, and I'm going to use you as a weapon to punish him." You're not gonna say that. Nah. You're gonna try your best to admonish yourself of any wrongdoing whatsoever. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna lie. Well, your daddy ain't shit. He don't love you, so that's why he ain't around. Come on. Using the child as a weapon. Now you have to be a low down, dirty creature to weaponize your own seed in a manner in which will be detrimental to said seed in the long run. So they don't even give a fuck about the children's. They talk all that shit. You need to step up and be a man. You need to man up because that's your child. When in essence, they don't give a fuck about the child. And their actions prove it. So what I'm saying to you men is that you need to be just as low down, black-hearted as they are. Taking the high ground is not gonna work. It's not gonna work. You will lose that fight every single time. It's like being in a street fight, and the person in which whom you're fighting is going to use grapple tactics to get the better of you. But all you want to do is just stand up and throw hands. Okay, let's say the person that you're fighting is not even using grapple tactics. Let's say the person that you're fighting is going to not only trade hands with you, but they going to trade feet with you as well. They got their kick game on point. They can do roundhouses and push kicks and side kicks with both feet. And all you know how to do is just chunk your left and your right hand. you're at a disadvantage. They got 2 extra appendages that they can put upside your motherfucking head. They got some extra shit that they gonna utilize in this fight to subdue you. And you think that you just gonna square up and just chunk them and chunk them dogs. No. This motherfucker about to kick you upside your goddamn head. Or if he can, he gonna grab you, hip toss your ass to the ground and yoke you up. Motherfucker, you are in a street fight. This is tantamount to Napoleon and how Napoleon revolutionized guerrilla warfare in Europe in the time that he was about. And I think I spoke on this in a past video about how Prussia, was it Prussia that he got into a beef with? I forgot. It was in the book of 33 Strategies of War by Robert Greene. I think it was Prussia. I'll say it again. Prussia, when they went to battle, they came out in tight knitted formations in an open plain field or whatever, and they just shot it out. Whoever was the best shot or whoever had the most soldiers would win in that style of war. But Napoleon trained his troops and his men to utilize guerrilla warfare tactics. He equipped each soldier with a light rucksack or whatever of ammunition and every provisions they needed to be proficient on the battlefield. And the motherfuckers, they didn't utilize formational tactics. They ran around the battlefield ducking and taking cover wherever they could, and they decimated motherfuckers in Europe, utilizing a new tactic. Now, the old way of fighting, when you looked at it like that, that was a coward's way to fight. You know what I'm saying? But it revolutionized the shit. So you had no choice but to fight that way now. You have no choice. You have no choice. It's like if you in a street fight with a motherfucker and he grab hold of you and yoke you up and get to tussling with you, he ain't throwing hands no more. You ain't got no choice but to wrestle with this motherfucker now. You got into the fight just thinking you about to just box it out until somebody break it up or until you sleep this month. No, he done grabbed you. And he is about to try to slam you to the ground and then work you over. Now, when he grab you, you can say, man, stop grabbing all you want. Stop grabbing, stop grabbing. You can say that shit all you want. But when your feet come up off of that ground and he put your back on that motherfucker, it won't matter then. Only thing that's gonna matter is you covering up the goddamn soft spots on your head as he proceeds to pummel you. That's where we're at, black man, as far as this black bitch is concerned. And this whole baby mama industrial complex, these motherfuckers, they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit. They're gonna utilize any and all methods to subdue you. They're not fighting fair. Now you got to use your own discretion to go about handling your own situation. But what I'm telling you is, you're not gonna be able to turn the other cheek, be the bigger person, or take the high ground out of this, because we're dealing with some low level motherfuckers, some low life motherfuckers. You're dealing with low lives. And when you're dealing with swine, you're gonna have to get in the mud. That's just what it is. You deal with swine, you're gonna have to get down in the mud. And it's my personal opinion that due to this whole bombardment of this whole niggas ain't shit, they don't take care of their kids, propaganda bombardment, I think that black men are overly concerned about not getting muddy. Even when they are thrown in the pig pen to wrestle that goddamn hog down, they don't want to get no mud on them. You are knee deep in shitty hog shitty mud. That's even a word. You're gonna get some mud. You better just see this shit all the way. You gotta get down and dirty with these motherfuckers. Is what I'm saying. Now I know it's a couple of people in the Black Manosphere, one in particular. It's always talking about it. See, you coming from it from a secular perspective. I'm coming at it from a biblical perspective. Though you never hear this person quote a scripture. But anyway. As far as baby mamas are concerned, I have a scripture. Oh yes, I have a scripture to deal with that. Romans 13 verse 7. Render therefore to all their dues. Basically, motherfucker giving, showing their ass to you, you give them what they deserve. Tribute to whom tribute is due. Alright, bitch, you want this little petty ass check? I gotta pay tribute to you. Alright, you can have it. It's no big deal. Custom to whom custom. So if it's your custom, bitch, to be low down and dirty in the scheme, guess what? When in Rome, do as the Romans, turn about is fair play, all of that good stuff. So if it's customary for you to engage in skullduggery, what's good for the goose is good for the goddamn gander. Hell. Fear, honor to whom honor. And one thing, that last point, honor to whom honor. So one thing brothers got to get out their mind. Because just because a bitch has your child or she gets pregnant with your child, it don't make her special, man. Does not make her special. And I know that might be hard for a lot of brothers to hear, because your mama or your grandmama might be a piece of shit. But she gave birth to you, or she gave birth to your mama or your daddy. But that's just what it is. Giving birth don't make you special. I'm on some king shit. King Solomon had what? Over 1,000 concubines or something like that? Like 70 wives and 1,000 concubines? I'm pretty sure he knocked up at least, at the very least, he knocked up at least 30 of them concubines. If you got 1,000 concubines, you at least knocking up 0.3% of them. I mean, come on now. But do you think said concubine or said child of or our child of said concubine was gonna be raised up to royal status? I think not. I think not. Absolutely not. And what we have today is a bunch of low seated concubine bitches demanding that they get queen status. No, bitch. You don't get queen status. You are a low down concubine. You get concubine status. Well, I'm the mother of your child. Well, you are a concubine who gave birth to my child. So that you don't get the keys to the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean you next. That don't mean that child gonna be next in line to sit on the throne. Fuck is you talking about? I'm the mother of your child. That don't mean that child is next in line to sit on the throne. And that doesn't mean that there's going to be a lesser throne erected by my throne that you're gonna sit your stinking ass in. That's what that means. You every bit of a goddamn harlot, demanding that you be treated like a motherfucking queen, and demanding that the child be elevated to heir status. No, doesn't work like that. Doesn't work like that. And I'm not telling brothers to do anything or to not do anything as it pertains to these particular situations with dealing with a piece of shit, low down baby mama. You use your own discretion. But what I'm saying is, we do need to teach these bitches a lesson. They do need to be taught a lesson. If you don't comport yourself like a queen, you don't get queen treatment. Honor to whom honor. Deed to whom deed. If you're not worthy of honor, you don't get honor. And if your deeds does not reflect someone who is worthy of honor, you don't get honor. If your deeds are worthy of dishonor, then you get dishonor. Now, if you're a chess man, you're gonna understand if you make certain moves on the board, you might lose certain pieces, and it's up to you. It's up to you to make that decision. Are you willing to lose that piece? so that you can win the game? Or is that little piece so important to you that you just can't let it go? But yeah. I don't, like I said, man, I don't give a fuck what they gotta say anymore. I don't care what complaints that these women have as it pertains to racism, colorism, featureism, baby mamaism. I don't give a shit. Don't give a shit. As far as I'm concerned, their behavior and their whole psychology needs to, how you say, needs to be reprimanded. Very much so. Needs to be reprimanded. And I might later come out with a video detailing what I personally think we should do to reprimand these bitches, but I don't know. Who knows? Yeah, this Benjamin D'Souza, man. That's all I gotta say.